let's get started on today's card. Today's card is a very, very easy card, and it can be used very easily for bulk cards, and it should only take a couple minutes to put together, not even. Okay, so it's a good way also to use up your scrap paper, which is always something I'm looking to do. So I gathered up a couple of pieces of scrap paper, and I'm going to just place them on a piece of, this is actually 5 1/4 by 4, because I'm considering in the end to add some sort of color around it or some sort of cardstock as my card base. Okay. So again, these are just 2 pieces of scrap paper from some leftover Christmas paper that I had, and a bit of glue hanging out there. There we go. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to let that hang over the edge for now. I might trim it, or I might just leave it so it touches the ends of the card bases. Not quite sure yet how it's going to look. Again, majority of my videos I do spontaneously, so you kind of get to see my creative thought process. I chose a few sentiments from some various stamp sets. The supply lists are listed on my blog, and there's a link to my blog in the description. So if you are curious, you can do that. My color palette today is Slate, Glacier, and Black. I just wanted some really subtle tones in the beginning, and I was thinking of using Whisper Gray with the Glacier, similar to one of the previous cards, sort of the color palette. But I decided to take a look at my stripes here, and my colors, generally my palette is a ruby red, this Glacier color, this Slate color. So I decided to skip the red because I think it's going to be too much. I think that red here is really subtle and pretty. I might add a slight strip of red, or I might add a red embellishment of some sort to tie in that paper. So the first stamp I have is the Peace on Earth stamp, and that's from Simon Says Stamp. I'm going to line that up right here. I'm going to line up actually all of my stamps just to make sure that everything fits okay. The next one is a Be Jolly stamp from Kelly Perky. And I wanted all sentiments that weren't too busy but weren't all the same. And then Good Tidings of Great Joy, and that belongs to the same set as the Peace on Earth by Simon Says Stamp. This is another Simon Says Stamp, and this is going to be my main sentiment, my Happy Holidays. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat stamp the Peace on Earth, Be Jolly, Good Tidings. So I want to make sure that those are actually a little bit closer together so I have enough room to do so, which I should if I go there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stamp my main sentiment first, and I believe that was about right there. And you want to make sure that it's in the middle. I'm going to pick that up with my stamp press. I love working with a stamp press, if you haven't noticed already. Except for with really tiny stamps, then I don't like it. Okay, I'm going to ink that up so it's a brand new stamp, so I wanted to make sure that the ink coverage was perfect on that, and I had good coverage. And then I'm going to stamp my Happy Holidays. Actually, before I stamp, I'm going to clean up that black. I know what's going to happen. And fantastic, I got ink on my finger. Give that another go. All right. I'm going to stamp the Happy Holidays right in the center. Okay. And if you end up getting a little bit of white in there like I did, I'm just going to go in with a black marker later instead of trying to stamp the whole stamp once again on top. I find that even if they're clear stamps, every once in a while it doesn't work out, and I don't want to waste my card. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you, that was the Happy Holidays stamp set from Simon Says Stamp called Essential Greetings. The next thing I'm going to do is stamp the Peace on Earth. And I planned on the Peace on Earth being in the Glacier. Now, I'm actually going to do that in the slate tone, because I was thinking of my palette, so I'm going to have Glacier, Slate Glacier because I want to add a little bit more color and not just have so much gray and black on this card. So I'm going to do the Peace on Earth right there. And I'm really estimating, which you probably shouldn't do, as to where these things go. So if you're smart, plan it out. Or you might be in for a few surprises. But I decided to just work from my biggest stamps to my smallest stamps because it's always easier for me to find sort of a small, thin sentiment if by chance these other two stamps don't fit than it is to, try and get a thick sentiment to fit. And the next I'm going to do in Glacier. And I just had an idea where I'm going to implement that red. So the Peace on Earth stamp is from this stamp. I've used this lots in the holiday, in my card series here, my video card, 12 Days of Christmas. And I really like this a lot, and it is the Peace on Earth stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. This one here is from Kelly Purkey. And this is from the Santa's Coming stamp set, and I really like that stamp set because it's got a lot of quotes from Elf. I'm going to stamp the Peace on Earth and then the Be Jolly underneath. Okay, and then I have the Good Tidings of Great Joy, which is also from that Peace on Earth stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to also stamp that in Glacier ink. And I really like the subtle tones that Glacier gives and that Slate gives on the Peace on Earth. So the Happy Holidays does stand out. All right, and I do have an idea how I can incorporate that ruby ink, that red color in there. There's this set of 4 dots in this stamp set, which I'm just gonna put on a 1-inch block. And I'm gonna stamp it right beside Happy Holidays in red ink. Okay. I'm gonna stamp that next to the Happy, because it kind of lengthens that space between the holidays. Okay, perfect. Now you can actually stop there and make a white card base and fold it all up. I'm going to actually see what it looks like with the 3 different colors that I used in the inks to see what I want to make pop out. Okay, I grabbed a piece of cardstock from all of the colors that I used on my card. Now, I do recommend if you're new at stamping or if you're new with card making, that you pick a company or companies to buy inks and paper together so that you have the matching inks and paper. I tend not to buy from companies that, you know, they don't make the paper for the color, because then you can't match them as well and it becomes a tedious task. So that's kind of why I have the inks that I have. And you know, Simon Says Stamps is a good one. Close to My Heart, Stampin' Up. I believe Hero Arts, I'm not sure if they have paper though. And you know, those ones, it's just all their pattern paper is going to fit in and match with their pattern, or with their cardstock. Their inks are going to match. You're going to have everything available. So I took some Ruby, White Daisy, Slate, Glacier, and Black. And I'm just going to kind of hold it up to my stamp, or to my card, to see what I like best. Okay, and so I don't like the white, it makes it look too washed out. The gray really brings out that Peace on Earth stamp set, and that's not what I wanted. That's not the goal of my card. I'm just taking you through my thought process right now. I like the black because it makes the middle sentiment pop and it makes the colors look really vibrant, so that's a possibility. I find with the Glacier, it makes the Glacier sentiments kind of washed out, so I'm not going to use that. And I really like this ruby red look. I think that makes that accent pop, and it doesn't take away from any of the sentiments because it's only got that one little piece of ruby and those little stripes in there. So I think that's going to be my cardstock of the day. And if I were to choose that, I would have chosen black. Okay, so what I do, I'm just cutting because I'm too lazy to swing out the arm on my stamp, or on my cutter, is I am, and maybe I really should have, no, cutting a piece of 5.5 by 8.5. So I actually cut out 3.5, for example, on the one side because it's 12 by 12. Anyway, you don't have to understand my math process. Some people get it, some people don't, so I'm not going to bother. All right. Alright, so there I have my opening of my card. I didn't create a top folding card this time, shock. And I'm actually just want to take a look and see if I like those pieces hanging over or if I should trim them. And I do like how they go straight, they go fully to the top. So I'm not going to bother trimming these edges here. Just using some Tombow Mono glue. As I said in the other videos, I kind of ran out of glue and it came in yesterday and I was so excited. All right. And there is today's card. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to go back to day 2, day 7, and make sure you check out day 12 when it's available for you, because I'm going to be doing another giveaway. There's giveaways on all 3 of those days. And thank you so much for joining us on the 12 days of Christmas. I hope you enjoyed the card tutorial today and making a nice simple card that you can duplicate. Thanks so much for watching.